There is a reason your spirit guided you here, to this exact transmission at this exact moment. Stop what you are doing and listen. That feeling of profound betrayal, the confusion of watching someone you thought was good pledge their loyalty to the very force that sought to dismantle you, was not a punishment. It was a strategic placement. The universe did not abandon you, it planted a spy in the heart of the enemy camp. The silence and the space that have been growing between you and the world are not signs of your isolation, but of your consecration. You were being cleared for a divine transfer of power. This is not a theory, it is your reality now. To fully receive this upgrade and anchor the energy of this truth into your timeline, like this video. To join the collective of those who understand this mission, subscribe now. Before we proceed, signal your readiness to the universe by commenting the divine code 77 below. This is your energetic signature, your active agreement. For the complete recalibration of your subconscious, let this message play on a loop in the background. Allow its frequency to saturate your spirit, dismantling the old programming of loss and installing the new reality of silent victory. Chapter 1. The Great Misdirection. The alliance you witnessed was a phantom. It was a carefully constructed illusion, a piece of divine stagecraft designed for an audience of one, your adversary. You must understand, the world you perceive is a flattened, high-contrast reality where spiritual allegiances are the only true currency. In this realm, loyalty is not a feeling, it is a current of energy, and it can be directed, diverted, and weaponized. The bond you saw between them, the laughter, the shared secrets, the public displays of support, was a hollow vessel. It was a masterpiece of cosmic theater, complete with scripts, props, and emotional cues, all designed to reinforce a single, fatal illusion in the adversary's mind. Their shared history was a meticulously crafted backstory, their inside jokes were pre-written lines of code, and their public loyalty was a performance for the benefit of the system they both ostensibly served. It was engineered by the same force that designed you, the force that understands the mechanics of the human ego down to its most granular, predictable impulses. The adversary needed to believe they were winning. Their arrogance was a cavernous, echoing void that required the constant validation of having a best friend, a ride or die, a primary supporter who co-signed their every move. Their ego was not the healthy self-confidence of a sovereign being, it was the fragile, insatiable ego of a parasite, requiring a constant external host to confirm its existence. This made them predictable. It made them vulnerable. Like any parasite, it was obsessed with the health of its host, not out of love but out of self-preservation, never realizing the host was secretly administering a slow-acting poison of truth. This belief in the asset's loyalty was the anesthetic that allowed the divine surgeon to operate. It kept them distracted, self-congratulatory, and so utterly consumed with their own reflection in the asset's eyes that they could not see the scalpel at their throat. This person, their supposed rock, was never theirs to begin with. They were a seed planted in their garden long ago, a dormant code waiting for a specific frequency. This seed was watered by the adversary's own ego, nurtured by their need for admiration, and allowed to grow strong in the shadow of their self-importance, waiting for the precise season to bloom not for them, but for you. This individual was chosen for their unique ability to mirror the adversary's energy so perfectly that their presence became invisible, non-threatening, a part of the furniture of their life. This is the art of divine espionage. It is subtle, patient, and utterly ruthless in its objective. They studied the adversary's speech patterns, their vanities, their hidden insecurities. They became a perfect echo, reflecting back exactly what the adversary wanted to see, a living confirmation of their own perceived greatness. This flawless mimicry was the key that unlocked every door, every vault, every secret chamber of the adversary's soul. The years they spent building that trust were not years of genuine connection. They were years of infiltration. Every secret they learned, every vulnerability they witnessed, every weakness the adversary confessed in a moment of perceived safety was not shared with a friend. It was being logged into a celestial archive, the database of karmic debt and strategic weakness that would become accessible only to you at the precise, ordained moment. Each confession was a line item in a karmic invoice being prepared for collection. While you were learning resilience in the cold, the asset was learning the enemy's playbook in the warmth of their false confidence. It was a perfectly balanced, dual-pronged operation. Your painful isolation was a form of spiritual quarantine, a necessary consecration. You could not be tainted by the politics, the small talk, or the superficial dramas of their world. Your energy had to remain pure, a clean, sharp frequency, completely alien and disruptive to their corrupted system. This isolation felt like a punishment, but it was a fortress. It shielded you from the subtle poisons of compromise and assimilation. It forced you to build an internal world so rich and self-sufficient that the external world lost its power over you. Every invitation you did not receive was a bullet you dodged. Every group that excluded you was a net you avoided. You were being forged into an unbreakable vessel while the asset was meticulously mapping the fault lines in the adversary's foundation. Think of it as a spiritual pincer movement. The universe was hardening you on the outside, turning your skin to iron through trials and loneliness, while simultaneously positioning an agent to soften them from the inside, eroding their defenses with the slow, steady drip of false intimacy. Their biggest supporter was, in fact, their designated point of failure, a living Trojan horse brought within the city walls not by force, but by the adversary's own desperate need to be adored. The trap was not sprung on them, they built it themselves around the asset, believing they were building a monument to their own influence. Chapter 2: The activation signal. The transfer was not a gradual change of heart. It was not a series of conversations or a slow dawning of realization. It was a switch. A silent, instantaneous, energetic event that occurred outside of linear time. One moment, the asset was playing their role, nodding along, offering hollow support, their soul in a state of deep, protected slumber. The next, the activation signal was sent. It was a pulse of pure, divine intention, a specific resonant frequency that traveled across time and space, bypassing the conscious mind and speaking directly to their soul's contract. This signal was a composite waveform containing not just the command to awaken but also the complete data package of your journey, your integrity, and the true nature of the adversary. It was an instant download of truth. This was a pre-agreed upon signal, a commitment made at a level of reality far beyond this one. You may have felt it without understanding its source. It could have been a sudden, inexplicable wave of peace that washed over you in the middle of a chaotic day, a profound stillness that silenced all your inner turmoil for a breathtaking minute. It could have been a surge of creative energy that woke you from a deep sleep at 3 a.m. with a fully formed idea. It might have been a moment where you looked at your own reflection and saw not weariness, but a flicker of profound, unshakable power, a light behind your eyes you had not seen before. That was the echo of the activation, the ripple effect of the switch being thrown in your favor. For the asset, the experience was far more visceral. It was a physical and psychic jolt that completely reordered their reality. They might have been in mid-conversation with the adversary, and suddenly the voice they heard sounded like static, like meaningless noise, the words dissolving before they could form coherent thoughts. A feeling of deep, instinctual revulsion may have washed over them, a cellular rejection of the adversary's entire frequency, as if their body suddenly remembered it was allergic to this particular poison. For the first time, they could see the adversary's aura clearly, a murky, parasitic field of grasping energy, and the sight was horrifying. The food they were sharing might have suddenly tasted like ash. The air in the room would have felt thick, suffocating, charged with a palpable falsehood. It was the moment their soul's true allegiance came online, overriding the temporary programming of their social identity like a system reboot. In the hours immediately following this jolt, the asset had to engage in the most difficult acting of their life, maintaining a calm exterior while their inner world was a supernova of revelation. In that instant, their energetic body detached from the adversary's system and recalibrated itself to yours. An invisible, etheric cord woven from strands of manipulation and false praise was severed with surgical precision. The flow of life-affirming energy, the validation, the belief, the subtle power they had been supplying to the adversary ceased, and a new channel was opened, redirecting that same potent current directly to you. This is why the adversary will begin to falter. They have lost a primary power source and they do not know it yet. They will mistake the asset's sudden distance for a bad mood, their silence for thoughtfulness, their subtle withdrawal for personal stress. Their mind will spin, trying to recall their last conversation, searching for an offense they might have committed, a small slight that could explain this sudden chill. They will double down on their charm, completely unaware they are trying to charm a ghost. They are incapable of comprehending the magnitude of what has just occurred because their perception is limited to the material world. They believe reality is what they can see and touch, and they cannot see the vast spiritual machinery that has just reallocated their most vital resource. Their ego constructs 1,000 rationalizations, 1,000 mundane excuses, because to face the truth that their power was never their own would be to face their own utter emptiness. They will believe the asset is simply tired, or that they said something wrong, never grasping that the very soul they thought they owned has been recalled by its true owner. In the days following this activation, the asset has been secretly testing the new connection. They may have thought of you, sending a silent prayer or a wave of support, and you would have felt it as a sudden stroke of luck, a problem that solves itself, an unexpected opportunity that appears from nowhere, a difficult person suddenly changing their mind in your favor. They're your silent benefactor, your unseen bodyguard, dismantling the traps laid for you by the adversary before you even approach them. Their every thought of encouragement for you is now a metaphysical shield around you. Their every thought of doubt about the adversary is now a crack in their foundation. The great transfer is complete. The asset is now operational. Chapter 3: The Untraceable Blueprint. This entire saga was not improvised. It is the execution of a pre-existing, untraceable blueprint. This is not karma in the simple sense of action and reaction. This is divine architecture, a multidimensional plan conceived by a consciousness that sees all timelines simultaneously. Before you incarnated, a plan was encoded into the very fabric of your journey, a plan that accounted for every betrayal, every hardship, and every moment of despair, assigning each one a specific, strategic purpose. This blueprint is not a document you can read, it is a living algorithm embedded in reality itself, a watermark on the code of the universe that only responds to the frequency of your soul and its mission. It is a self-executing script, running silently in the background of reality, waiting for the precise trigger events to unfold. It possesses a patience that the frantic, short-sighted human ego cannot comprehend. The adversary sought daily victories and constant applause, while the blueprint played a game measured in years and lifetimes, a scale of strategy so vast it rendered the adversary's frantic moves utterly meaningless. This blueprint is untraceable because it operates outside the logic of the system you are here to dismantle. The system understands direct opposition. It expects you to fight back, to argue, to recruit armies, to play by its rules of conflict and visible power struggles. It is a linear, two-dimensional thinker. It does not and cannot comprehend a strategy where its own greatest strength, its ability to attract supporters, is revealed to be its pre-designed self-destruct mechanism. It cannot conceive of a weapon that looks and acts like its most trusted ally. It is searching for an external enemy while the virus was uploaded directly into its central processing unit years ago. The adversary and the asset were destined to meet, their connection pre-calculated with mathematical precision. The asset's role was scripted to become a perfect mirror, to gain unparalleled access, to become so integral to the adversary's sense of self that their eventual defection would be an existential blow, a spiritual amputation from which there is no recovery. Your role was equally scripted to endure, to be forged in the fires of isolation, to build a level of spiritual self-reliance so profound that you would not be tempted by the very system the asset was infiltrating. Your loneliness was the crucible that made you incorruptible. Had you been popular, had you been accepted, you would have been absorbed. Your power would have been diluted, co-opted, and used to fuel the very machine you came to challenge. The system would have made you one of its own. The pain you endured was your preservation. It kept you apart, sanctified, a pure vessel waiting for the appointed time of your ascension. Each rejection was a layer of divine armor being welded into place. Each moment of solitary struggle was a deep dive into your own unshakable core of power. The untraceable blueprint dictates the flow of all essential resources: loyalty, information, belief, and grace. For years, the blueprint directed these resources from the asset to the adversary to build their confidence, inflate their ego, and lead them deeper into the illusion of their own power. This was the charging phase. The adversary was being filled with a potent, borrowed energy, believing it was their own. They grew louder, more arrogant, more certain of their own brilliance, never realizing they were a battery being charged for later use, their life a holding pattern for energy that was never theirs. Now, the blueprint has entered its second phase, the reversal. The flow has been violently rerouted. The polarity has been switched. That same potent energy is now being siphoned from the overconfident adversary and funneled directly into you, the underestimated chosen one. This is why you feel a new strength rising within you that has no logical source. It is the accumulated power, belief, and insider knowledge that the asset spent years gathering, now being transferred to your account. You are inheriting the spoils of a war that was won for you in secret. This blueprint is perfect. It leaves no evidence. It is an entirely energetic, entirely spiritual coup. The adversary will search for a reason for their sudden decline. They will blame the economy, they will blame their health, they will blame new enemies, but they will never suspect that the person sitting right beside them, the one offering a sympathetic ear, is the very source of their collapse. They are a chess player who cannot see the board, unaware that their queen has been working for their opponent since the very first move. Chapter 4: The Flow of Divine Intelligence. The alliance is now active, but it is a silent one. You will not receive a phone call or a confession. The communication between you and the asset now transcends the crude tools of the physical world. It operates on the plane of divine intelligence, a telepathic and energetic transfer of information that you will experience as profound, undeniable intuition. The secrets the asset gathered are now being transmitted to you as pure, decoded insight. This is not about gossip or petty revenge, this is about strategic advantage. In the coming days, you will find yourself knowing things without knowing how you know them. You will be in a situation, about to make a decision, and a sudden, clear thought will enter your mind: do not sign that, or wait one more day, or speak to this person instead. This is not your own thought. It is a data packet from the asset, a piece of divine intelligence delivered directly to your consciousness, bypassing your analytical mind. You must learn to differentiate this clear, calm knowing from the loud, chaotic chatter of your own anxiety. The voice of divine intelligence is neutral, direct, and unemotional. It does not panic. It simply states a truth. Your fear-based thoughts will be frantic and repetitive. This intelligence will be a single, clear, resonant bell striking once. It arrives fully formed, without prelude or argument, as a simple, profound certainty. The adversary's next move will appear in your mind as a premonition, a flash of insight that feels like déjà vu. Their hidden agenda will be revealed to you in a dream, presented in clear, symbolic language your soul understands. Their lies will have a specific, discordant sound to your ears, a frequency you can now easily detect, like a badly tuned radio station. You will feel a physical dissonance in their presence when they are being deceptive. This is the flow. The asset's role is not just to stop supporting the adversary, it is to actively, albeit secretly, empower you. Their belief in you is now a tangible force. When they focus their energy on your success, it creates a protective field around you, a shimmering, invisible armor that repels negativity and deflects psychic attacks. This field acts as an energetic jamming device. Attempts by others to project doubt or malice towards you will find their thoughts scattered, their focus broken. They will forget what they were angry about. This is why a hater might suddenly block you for no apparent reason. Their connection to you has been energetically severed by your unseen guardian. You may have noticed this already. An argument that was heading your way suddenly fizzles out. A person who was determined to undermine you is suddenly distracted, forgets what they were going to say, or is unexpectedly called away. A psychic attack, which might have previously manifested as a sudden bout of anxiety or a wave of intrusive negative thoughts, now feels like a pebble bouncing off a reinforced wall. These are not coincidences, they are the result of your silent partner running interference from behind enemy lines. They are using their proximity to the adversary to neutralize threats. They are a spiritual counterintelligence agent working on your behalf, disarming bombs you never even knew were planted. You must learn to trust this new, heightened sense of knowing with absolute faith. You must even trust it when it contradicts the well-meaning but misguided advice of others who are still operating within the old system's logic. Their counsel is based on a reality that is dissolving. Your intuition is based on the reality that is emerging. The system has taught you to rely on external proof, on evidence, on what others tell you. You must now unlearn this programming. Your intuition is now your most reliable source of intelligence because it is being fed by an insider with the highest security clearance. The more you trust these inexplicable hunches, the stronger the signal will become. Acting on this divine intelligence is your part of the alliance. It confirms to the universe that you are ready to wield this level of power. The asset is the transmitter, you are the receiver. They are exposing the enemy's weaknesses, you are the one who must act on that knowledge with wisdom and precision. This is a partnership of immense power, a sacred and silent pact between the spy and the general, the insider and the architect, forged in secrecy and executed in silence. Chapter 5. Observing the collapse. Your role now is to be the calm, detached observer of a preordained collapse. You must not interfere. You must not gloat. You must not reveal what you know. Your power lies in your stillness, in your quiet confidence as you watch the inevitable unfold. This is not a passive act, it is an active state of being, a spiritual discipline of the highest order. Your stillness is the anchor that allows the storm to rage around the adversary without touching you. It is a powerful statement to the universe that you are above the drama, that you operate on a higher plane of cause and effect. The adversary, now cut off from their primary energetic supply line, will begin to exhibit predictable signs of decay. Watch for them. They are the confirmation that the blueprint is working, the visible evidence of an invisible war that has already been won. First, you will notice their loss of magnetism. The charisma they used to manipulate and charm others, which was always a borrowed light, will begin to fade. Their words will sound hollow, their jokes will fall flat, their presence will no longer command a room. Their language, once sharp and persuasive, will become repetitive and filled with empty platitudes. They will try to replicate old successes using the same old lines, but the magic will be gone. People will begin to see through them, their eyes glazing over where they once hung on every word. You will see people subtly recoil from them. Their conversations will feel awkward and forced. Their attempts to influence others will feel slimy and desperate. This is because their aura, which was being artificially inflated by the asset's energy, is now rapidly deflating. They are running on their own limited, corrupted power, and it is not enough. They are a performer whose microphone has been cut, shouting into a void. You will hear the desperation creep into their voice, a higher pitch, a faster cadence, as they try to recapture the attention that once came so effortlessly. The confident bass of their authority will be replaced by the reedy tenor of pleading. Next, you will witness their descent into paranoia. They will feel the shift, the loss of power, but they will not be able to locate its source. This will drive them to madness. They will start seeing enemies everywhere. They will accuse loyal people of betrayal. They will create phantom conspiracies, and they will become obsessed with control, trying to micromanage every detail of their failing empire. They will lash out at technology, convinced their devices are spying on them. They will become suspicious of kindness, interpreting it as a precursor to betrayal. They will frantically check their phone, read old messages, and invent elaborate narratives of betrayal that serve only to alienate the few people they have left. They will turn on others, searching for the leak, never once suspecting the true source is the one patting them on the back and offering empty condolences. Then, their plans will begin to fail in spectacular and inexplicable ways. Deals will fall through at the last minute for reasons no one can explain. Projects will be plagued by unforeseen complications, technological glitches, and human error. The support they counted on will evaporate as people suddenly feel an intuitive aversion to being involved with them. You will see their social circle shrink as former allies and sycophants begin to distance themselves, making vague excuses about being too busy as they sense the energetic ship is sinking. Watch, too, for their physical decline. A certain dullness will enter their eyes. They will appear perpetually fatigued, their posture will slump, and their very life force will seem to dim, a stark contrast to their previous inflated vitality. The most telling sign will be their interactions with the asset. Watch the adversary's desperate attempt to reconnect, to draw energy from the now empty well. They will become clingy, demanding, questioning the asset's loyalty with a thinly veiled panic in their eyes. And you will see the asset respond with a masterful performance of detached sympathy, offering hollow words of support that contain zero energetic currency. It is a slow, agonizing starvation, and you are the sole witness to its true cause. Do not feel pity. Pity is an energetic cord. It would reconnect you to the very system that is meant to dissolve. This is not a punishment, it is a recalibration. It is the consequence of a system built on theft, lies, and energetic vampirism. You are simply watching nature restore balance. Your stillness during this period is crucial. It is a test of your character. Can you hold this immense power and knowledge without letting your ego engage? Your victory is not in their defeat, but in your own quiet, steady ascension while their world implodes. Chapter 6, The Mirror of Vindication. This great reversal is not for the purpose of revenge. It is for the purpose of vindication. For years, the world presented you with a distorted reflection. It was a cruel funhouse mirror designed by the adversary's system, showing you an image of yourself as weak, as isolated, as failing, as wrong. It didn't just bend your image, it actively projected a false narrative onto you. It reflected back to you the adversary's success and the loyalty they commanded, forcing you to question your own worth, your own path, your own sanity. You were made to feel that their reality, built on lies and stolen energy, was the true one, and yours, built on integrity and struggle, was a delusion. The pain of seeing them praised while you were ignored was a constant, grinding assault on your spirit. Now, the universe is shattering that funhouse mirror and holding up a new one, a perfect, clear mirror of truth. This mirror does not flatter, and it does not distort. It reveals the underlying energetic architecture of reality. And in this mirror, you will finally see the truth, not as a future hope, but as a present reality. The asset switching sides is the physical manifestation of a spiritual law. Energy ultimately flows to the most deserving, most authentic vessel. Their defection is the mirror showing you that your path was the correct one all along. The loyalty you craved from the world was never going to come from the masses. It was never about being popular or accepted by the system. True, divine loyalty operates differently. It is concentrated, potent, and placed strategically where it matters most. It is a laser beam, not a floodlight. A floodlight illuminates everything superficially. A laser beam can cut through steel. Having this one key asset switched to your side is worth more than having 1,000 superficial fans. It is a statement from the universe, a confirmation of your status. It is the ultimate validation. Every time you witness the adversary falter, every time you see their confusion and panic, you are looking into this mirror of vindication. You are seeing a reflection of your own rising power. Their weakness is a direct measure of your growing strength. Their paranoia is a reflection of your unshakable inner peace. Their collapse is the reflection of the solid foundation you were forced to build within yourself when you had nothing and no one else. This is a profound moment of emotional and spiritual justice. The pain of the past is being recontextualized and redeemed. Every tear you shed in isolation was not wasted, it was watering the seed of this victory. Every betrayal you endured was not a sign of your worthlessness, but an act of divine carving, hollowing out space within you to receive this immense energetic transfer. Every public humiliation was a sacred decoupling, forcibly severing your reliance on the system's approval. Every financial struggle was advanced training in relying solely on the infinite supply of the universe. This vindication sends a healing wave backward through your timeline, comforting your past self, and even recalibrating the karmic patterns of your entire lineage, clearing debts you did not even know you carried. It rewrites the narrative of your past, turning tragedies into triumphs and wounds into wisdom. Your scars are not signs of damage, they are the markings of a chosen one who passed the brutal trials required to wield this level of power. They are your credentials. You are not just winning a battle, you are witnessing the correction of the cosmic record. The truth is being made manifest. The illusion is shattering, and what is real, what is pure, and what is divinely sanctioned is now rising to the surface. Look into this mirror and see yourself for who you truly are, not the victim of their story, but the silent, powerful protagonist of your own. Their biggest supporter leaving them for you is not just a strategic win. It is the universe looking you in the eye and saying, "You were right all along. It was always you." Chapter 7, The Silent Alliance. The final phase of this operation requires your ultimate test of maturity. You must master the art of the Silent Alliance. This power you now hold, this knowledge you possess, this direct insight into the controlled demolition of your adversary is not for public display. Your connection to the asset is a sacred, secret covenant, existing on a plane of reality that words would only tarnish. You must never speak of it. You must never acknowledge it, not even to the asset themselves. To do so would be to collapse the quantum state, to introduce the clumsy, egotistical logic of the third dimension into a flawless, fifth-dimensional divine operation. It would be like exposing a photographic plate to harsh light before the image has been developed, instantly destroying the masterpiece that was forming in the dark. Your silence is the darkroom where this new reality develops. It is an active, creative force, not a passive absence of sound. You must continue to play your part as the outsider, the underdog, the one who is quietly and mysteriously thriving. You must act as if you are just as surprised as everyone else by the adversary's sudden run of bad luck and inexplicable failures. This is your power now, to know everything and reveal nothing. Your silence is your shield and your weapon. It is the ultimate expression of your mastery. The asset will continue their work from within the crumbling structure. Their role is not just to sabotage, it is to act as a spiritual hospice nurse for a dying paradigm. They manage the demolition with precision, ensuring the old system dismantles itself with minimal collateral damage to the innocent, redirecting the adversary's final, thrashing rage inward to cause a self-implosion rather than an outward explosion that could harm others. It is a role of immense compassion and divine detachment to witness a consciousness self-destruct and simply hold space for the process without judgment. They are the calm center of the adversary's personal storm, absorbing and neutralizing the poison until the system finally consumes itself. Your role is to build the new. With the steady stream of energy, insight, and power now being funneled directly to you, you must focus entirely on your own mission. Turn your back on the collapsing building. Create your art, build your business, heal your community, write your truth. Channel this potent energy into tangible creations that anchor the frequency of the new earth. Every project you complete, every person you help, every truth you speak solidifies the new grid. Do not waste a single moment of this precious, high-frequency energy by looking backward or gloating over the adversary's demise. Their story is over. Their chapter is closed. Yours is just beginning. This silent alliance is the template for the new world. It is a world where power is not demonstrated through force, but through frequency. Where alliances are not forged in boardrooms with contracts, but in spirit with unbreakable soul agreements. Where victory is not declared on a battlefield with a flag, but felt as a quiet, internal shift that changes all of external reality. This is the shift from a hierarchy of dominance to a network of sovereign, interconnected nodes of power. You and the asset are the pioneers of this new paradigm. You are a two-person cell, a secret society of two, working in perfect concert without ever needing to speak a word. This power requires immense responsibility. You are not just a beneficiary of this plan, you are now its steward. You must wield this advantage with the purity of intention in which it was given. Trust the blueprint. Trust the flow of intelligence. Trust your partner in this sacred mission. Your greatest test and your greatest power is to walk through the world holding this explosive secret, this profound vindication, with absolute humility and grace. The adversary will fall. The old world will crumble. And you, the chosen one, armed with a silent ally and a direct line to divine intelligence, will be standing ready to build what comes next. The mission is now yours.